Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big apologies for taking so long to get another video out, but I've been super busy with the new house. I'm busy cutting and making windows for those, which is fun because I've never done that before. And all this is because with austerity being what it is in the UK at the moment, we have to really make do with our own skills. So I apply all my skills. But in the meantime, I've got a gap here and there where maybe a contractor hasn't arrived or something like that. So I get straight back into the workshop and crack on with these plastics because we are so close, so close that I can't wait. I mean, they're starting to look like RMs now. So today I'm going to just crack on with more plastics and then I've got something to show you. I have recently had an inquiry from a subscriber from the United States, from a company that sells Cerakote and powder coating. Now, you know, traditionally, I'm not a big powder coat guy when it comes to these type of vintage motorcycles because they use two-pack paints and I try and keep to the original as possible. That said, I've seen a lot of Cerakote videos. It's a form of powder coating and I really think it's pretty impressive stuff. It has a much larger range of colors than powder coating, it seems. It could be something that could work for you, but I certainly will be able to explain to you what I'm trying to achieve from these paints. Now, let me just show you this. This is the Cerakote pack, which he sent me, the UK office. I'll put the link below. But they very generously sent me all this stuff, including the spray gun. And they said to me, what colors would I like? And I said, well, the only thing I can think of right now that I'd like to trial is this Cerakote, this tank cap for the Ducati. And one of the reasons I want to try this Cerakote is because you can see how fine these ribbings are here. And I want to make sure that even this has been painted. And if the Cerakote can deliver a crisp finish like this on a surface like this, then I'm all for it. So I'm going to have a go at this and see how we do. So stick with me. Just take note of it. Subscribe if you're interested in it because I will do an in-depth review on it. So that might be helpful to some of you who are looking for alternatives other than can spraying or two-pack paints.
Yeah, so I colour matched the top of the colour, resprayed.
Oh, where was that scratch? Oh,
along the side.
Yeah.
And I noticed because the original decal is essentially just a vinyl sticker they put on top, so it has, you can see it's discoloured at the bottom.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I was wondering when it came to the restoration, I did actually end up making a decal for this yesterday, so I spent all the time making the letters.
Okay.
Do you want me to cover the letters and then spray white, or keep the original shape of the vinyl?
Just keep the original shape of the vinyl,
yeah,
just as it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking what I might do is keep the white at the top, and because it's slightly discoloured, make a sort of dirtier white to blend it all in.
Yeah, just
I don't want to make it so obvious that I, made a tracing around the side.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you managed to. You're going to touch that up with.
Yeah, I'll touch that. I'll blend in the green there.
Yeah.
Just touch it up there, and then I'll blend in a little bit of the silver as well. So it'll just be minimal restoration on the actual flag.
It's strange, just that you've cleaned this up now. It's
nice.
It's starting to look good. Yeah, just copy this one. Just that's where you want to be. Just.
Yeah, so I had basically when I sprayed my colour yesterday, so I had originally just put the cutter around just the shape of it, and I sprayed my colour, and then it basically made it a little too obvious that because this is essentially yellowed in the sun.
Yes.
The rest of it will be stark
I see.
white.
Yeah.
So I colour matched it to the top here, not to the sides.
Yeah.
Because that was where it's most obvious.
I guess then you just have to.
No, so what I might do is what I did with the Ducati is put the thing on, make it slightly dirty white, and literally just dust it on, but really diluted.
Yeah.
So this will be the bright white, and this at the bottom will basically match this sort of dirty white, just ever so slightly at the bottom.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you see where I sanded the back of it because it was just too obvious.
I see.
That's why I ended up making a whole decal for all of the letters as well, just in case. So two options. If you wanted to keep the shape of it, or if you just wanted the letters to be safe.
I'll go with either one's going to work, because I don't think we have that many choices. By the end of the day, you're going to find yourself, if I want something, that might not work.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, it won't be. I'm going to try it the first way, so I'm going to keep the shape of the actual vinyl, make a dirty white, a slightly dirty white, and dust it in and see if that works. Because if I can keep the whole original shape, I will.
Okay, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a biggie. It's not. I mean, we're talking like really, you know, minuscule details. As long as this is still the original decal, and it looks like it's a decal that's stuck on, that's all now.
Yeah, so I only touched up the white yesterday, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I have a bit more time, because we're starting to pick up a little bit of frames.
Yes.
So I'll let this cure for a
news.
couple more days.
Okay.
And then I'll tack it again.
There's the tank finished. Looks brilliant. Problem gone. There's a big dent there. And this has been fine art restored. So in other words, all these decals, all this main color is exactly original. We haven't touched it. We've blown this in. And as you can see, it's difficult to tell with the light, but there is no difference between the colors, even if you might perceive that on the camera, it's not. So what's really nice is none of this has changed. We've just touched up all the nasty bits, and this tank is ready to go. Unfortunately, we had to stop because we're now in the middle of season, so the guys have to spray bicycles instead. But we're at this point now where this has been secured, so we just have to do some base coat. Base coat means color finishing and details on this, and then we can finish up this thing. But it's not far. You can see it looks a lot better than what it did before. So not far to go on this one, but it's all good because these are just curing. This takes about 2-pack paints themselves take a few hours to cure, but the base coat paints underneath them are single pack, meaning that there's no hardener in the color, and that color has to permeate through a sealed surface of 2-pack paint. So the solvents take forever to come out. Although it feels solid, and it does, if you leant that up against something on a sharp edge for a while, you would get a line there. Eventually that line would disappear because the base coat would then flatten out again. But just so that you know, when you have paint done on motorcycle parts and so on, maybe they don't tell you this, but you have to be super cautious. The last time you saw me scraping away at this, and I literally gave up on it, you can see how thin the edging is on this. I mean, it's super thin, really on the limit for me. Now I'm going to polish this back with some lamb's wool. This is the lamb's wool tool that you should use. I get asked this quite a few times. This is what you want. You want a lamb's wool buffing wheel, and you run it at a fairly slow speed so you don't actually melt the plastic. And what it does is it slowly heats itself up naturally as you move it across, and you'll start to get some shine. Now, I'm hoping that you see these little white streaks here, that generally speaking, if you buff it, it normally blends this white back into the yellow. So it'll be a much more uniform color, which is what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I'm going to have to discard this or give this to somebody else who's even more desperate than I am. But I have a package coming, which I've managed to find someone who has another one of these. It's also pretty bad, and some other bits and pieces which I've been missing. You can see, for example, on this one, the kind person who had this bike before cut this off. So this is missing this whole piece from here. So I'm not quite sure why they did that, but it has been the only part of the bike which has been a really difficult one for me to find. So I've now got one, but it needs a lot of work, and we'll just have to scrape away and see if we can get it back to looking original. But today, the last of the plastics I'm hoping has arrived. Let's have a look here. It's this one I don't have. So we're going to scrape that and see, but it's pretty white and damaged. So I don't know Oh, that's also already cracked through there. The one that I wanted is this one here. So we're going to scrape this one up and see what we've got here. I'm hopeful. And then the bit that really caught my eye, this. Now this is an original plate, number plate for the front. I have never seen one in over a year that I've been looking for parts. And this is the original one. What makes them different is very simple. Let me show you. The retro ones have this one big recess here and pretty much square. The original one looks a little different, as you can see in the bottom right there, and all these slot holes at the top, which makes this one from this period. If I can get this one back, this one will go on to bike number 1. This is my workshop at home. This is what's going to help me get the build done. There's quite a lot of work to do. All this is coming off. We're extending up there. This is what you do in England, is you're allowed to extend your roof, which turns into a nice bedroom and a bathroom. These are the windows I'm replacing. They're original traditional windows. This house was built in 1910, so it's a fairly modern house by English standards, and these windows are still good. They're all cedar. It's a slightly different set of challenges for my back channel, but bear with me. I will be back doing bits and pieces still. I want to get those RMs out. Now I've scraped this as far as I can. It's a bit pale. It's original yellow. You can see it's a bit pale, but I'll have to live with that. I think once I've polished this, I'm going to see if I can't get some sort of yellow stain. I don't want to paint this because this will just flake. This is an ABS or polypropylene. But let's see if I can't still make this better than it is. But all the edging has come out pretty well. And this is a rough scrape, but at least I've managed to get it done. There's still these to do. These are the worst of them. Then there's, I think, one tank which is pretty bad. I'll do these here at my home workshop at night, so that I'm a bit closer to the house job and I can get on and do these. So I cannot wait to get the Commando done. That's now next in line, as many of you know. You've been waiting a long time for that, so I do apologize. But yeah, things get in the way. I have to scratch a few itches when it comes to motocross bikes, but I think I've done that now, you'll agree. So now we're back to the traditional vintage bikes, and then we'll do the Ducati. So lots to look forward to. This is the big check to see whether this is going to fit. Oh, for once I don't have to fight. This is good. This is good. Check these guys out. The service was amazing. The website is good, very comprehensive, easy. I've also obviously bought bits from Andover Norton, so it didn't all come from one place. Let's see. That's going to go on there. Like that. As you can see, there's a lot of things going on. I'm trying to do all of them together if I can. It's about time management. It's possible I don't watch TV, so I much rather spend my time with the family and then do things like this. So there's a lot to do, a lot of pressure to get certain things done. I really want to get these RMs done. I am really sorry it's taking so long, but when you're doing restorations like this and not finding the easy route out, these things just take longer to find parts, longer to restore them properly, particularly the plastics. But we're nearly there, so that'll be the next thing. Then, of course, what's really motivated me was to put the Norton onto the bike stand, which means it's now ready to go. As you can see, I've got the exhaust pipe, all the parts for the exhaust pipe now. It all seems to look fine. Whether it fits in the brackets or not, I don't know, but we're going to start on the engine, and I'm going to start familiarizing myself with all the details of what makes this particular 68 so different to any of the others that came after it. Believe me, if you've seen any of my stuff before, the research will get done and I will get this bike as close to original as I can. I don't fancy doing anything other than that on this particular bike. It deserves it. So with that, thank you guys for hanging around. I know it's been a bit of a bitty video, but just so that you can see all the different things that are going on in my life. It's about restoration, but it's also about trying to fit that into real life. And so that when you do see a video, you understand there's a lot that goes into doing it. As long as we stick to the plan, no shortcuts, and I'll teach you as much as I can as I learn things. The Cerakote is a very interesting opportunity, and I'll look at that on the Ducati, because I think the Ducati is a modern enough bike to actually look at Cerakote as another option, provided it doesn't look different. Let's have a look at that, see how we go. I will feed that back to you, and hopefully you'll find this channel useful. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so down below, because it does help me, it motivates me, and it gets the channel growing. So I'll see you on the next one.